in the real estate business, the only real job I ever had is what I tell people.
Yeah.
I do have a bachelor's in ag education, a master's in animal science. So naturally, you sell property for a living. I tell people I can teach a cow how to buy a house. That's kind of what my play on it is. A lot of young people lack that ability coming out of the nest of being able to make personal connections with people because they quite frankly have been playing on their phone or their tablet or their computer, and that's the way they communicate with people. And they haven't made those connections to be able to get someone to like you, to trust you.
Yeah.
And trust is a big factor in sales, especially younger people, first-time investor, first-time purchasers. Like, just because the bank says you can have this much money doesn't mean you have to spend it. Getting started in sales is like pushing over a Coke machine. You got to rock it a few times. Like, you can't just walk up there and knock it over. At least I can't.
Yeah.
But if you'll get something going back and forth, get some momentum, and then you can knock down that door and you can accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
But you have to understand it takes time. To me, it's not about the money. It's about the transaction. And some people say they call it, the relationships that they build with people. It's about the people. And to me, I want them to like me when we're done. But they can think I'm a jerk too, as long as I help them make the right decision. Yeah. And I guarantee there's a lot of people think I'm hard to deal with and I'm a jerk.
What do you think that percentage is?
Oh, pretty high.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Blueprint. Today I've got Jeremy Dicken. He is a local real estate agent, just a guy. But that's what he's going to tell you anyways. Stay tuned and we're going to find out how much of a liar he is. Also, if you guys could do me a favor, hit that smash button on the bottom, subscribe for me. It's going to help me get more of these stories out so these guys can tell their local stuff and how they got to success, how they've gotten and built their business up. I just want to be able to have them tell their stories for inspiration for you. So do me a favor. Click right there, please. Jeremy, thank you for coming on the show today. Appreciate you.
Well, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. In jest, I said at the very beginning, because you told me, I'm just a guy or I'm just this, like, that's a little bit of a misnomer. You're more than that. I mean, at the root of things, you like to keep things simple in your business, but overall, you kind of own everything. You play a little piece of everything, correct?
Yeah, I own the business. I'm lucky enough to have purchased the brokerages that I have. Century 21 Patterson Agencies, our main office. We also have Century 21 Payne Real Estate here in Caddo. Yeah. Local business that's been here for a long time. Both family owned, long time. I've worked for in the real estate business. The only real job I ever had is what I tell people. Yeah. I do have a bachelor's in ag education, a master's in animal science. So naturally, you sell property for a living. I tell people I can teach a cow how to buy a house. That's kind of what my play on it is. But I was. It's the only real job I've ever had. Is selling real estate and being just doing sales in general. Able to turn that into a local business, still family owned, and operated with the vast majority of people that work for us are from here, around here. We do our business here. Just a big part of what we do. Just trying to be part of the community, and just help grow it. Yeah, and grow it properly. Yeah, not just overrun with all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but be responsible about growth as well.
That's cool. How long have you been in this business?
I started. My story. I graduated college in December with a teaching degree, and those are not the jobs you want to get, or the ones you can get in December. Yeah. So my grandfather was a real estate broker in Greenville, and he said, "Hey, come work for me for a semester," and that was in January 2001. And then I was offered a scholarship at the university for recent graduates to go to grad school. Just to tell you how cost has changed drastically, I could take 3 classes, which is 9 hours. They would give me $1,000 scholarship, and 3 classes of grad school in 2001 was $1,050. So this is a little more expensive now, as I'm sure everybody with children is learning. Yeah. But so I did that. They offered me an assistantship in the ag department. So I worked for the ag department, worked for my grandfather, started in 2001, selling real estate with him, and got my license in 2003. So I've done this for essentially 25 years.
That's amazing. I wish I'd have gone the route that you went. I went to an art school that was $80K in 97. So
Yeah.
I didn't really get those price breaks, but I wish I had.
Well, I was lucky enough to get some scholarships through FFA and 4-H, and they grand total of about $17,000,
Yeah.
and I made money every semester.
That's awesome.
I got a scholarship overpay. I lived at home, let mom and dad pay the bills and cook the meals.
Yeah.
But was able to parlay those relatively minimal scholarships at this point into a college education.
Yeah.
That I promptly didn't use
Discarded.
for a job at all. Now I tell you that I use a lot of the things that I've learned through that in life and just life experiences. Tell folks at college, and I have a lot of friends who didn't go to college, who went the work route and have been vastly more successful than I am.
Yeah.
But if you go to college or any post-secondary, you teach people that you'll do something, that you'll stick it out.
Yeah.
As much as anything is what I feel like the college experience largely is. You learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And you meet a lot of people, meet a lot of contacts. But then you prove to people that, hey, I'm willing to do this.
Yeah.
I'm willing to hang around, which I think is a big part of maturity.
Yeah.
That we all have to get into.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like you start to see these steps that people go through. Like everyone feels they need to go to college. Everyone feels they need to do these things because it's kind of the norm. But I've had a lot of people sit in that chair right there, and for the most part, say 70% of those guys, multimillionaires that never went to college at all, right? Some are high school dropouts, some are whatever, right? And so it's such a varied, it really has to do with the human being that's inside, right?
100%.
And so as that human being inside decides whether he needs a few more years to mature or they're ready to get out and jump into that world at an early age, whether they're forced to or whether they need it, I think college comes for learning a certain skill set, at the end of the day. But for the most part, for me, like I see college nowadays as it's more of networking, building a group early, because you see a lot of guys that are building businesses together and, I know this guy that did this and whatever. It's like at an early age, those are the people you trust because you went to school together, you went to parties together, you know that or know them as a human being.
Have some sort of background with people. I have a friend of mine, a client. I refer to him as the brother I never wanted. My dad liked him better than he likes me, which is fine. But he was he graduated high school and was already had a business. And he said, the only reason I got a high school diploma is because my mom and dad said I had to.
Yeah.
He said I was ready to get out of school at 1:00 so I could go make my $250,000 a year that I was making at 17 years old mowing yards.
Wow, crazy.
And was able to parlay that into a larger business that he's subsequently sold. And I tell him that money isn't doing him any good in the bank. We've got to get out there and exercise it a little bit.
Right.
So let's reinvest that for you because I don't make any money if it's sitting in his bank, but I can get a commission when I sell a property to him. But yeah, it's 100% the individual.
Yeah.
You don't have to be extremely educated, well educated, to be successful. But I do think there's a maturity that a lot of people need those years to do, where they spend time doing something. Is it working for somebody else? Is it in education? Is it something? Because a lot of people aren't ready to be successful in what they're doing at 18 years old.
Right.
I think that some people try to get into sales at that age, and it's difficult. State of Texas says you can get a real estate license when you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
You have to pass a couple of classes and 6 classes and 2 tests, and here you go sell some stuff. And that sets people up in any sales, I think, for to not be successful because they don't have the life experience.
Yeah.
If I don't care if you're selling popsicles or real estate or chemicals or whatever, if you don't have the life experience to talk to the 45 or 65-year-old that's actually spending money on it, it's hard for the 18-year-old guy who's just learned to shave, which I forgot how to, like yourself,
like myself,
to convince people to spend money and to trust them.
Yeah.
So finding that group that you do stuff with together, I think is really important in your business growth.
Isn't it really interesting? And especially from your end, you're seeing a lot of young people that are coming in wanting to be real estate agents, wanting to, come directly out of the nest and start making money, right? And they take on this persona of who they think they're supposed to act like. There's couple of things when it comes to sales, like being natural.
Mhm.
Also there's a balance between cocky and confident,
Mhm.
right? And so a lot of people mix those things up. And, the confidence thing of sitting in front of someone and telling them what you know and have you studied, have you prepared. There's a lot that goes into that when it comes to talking to somebody out of spending money with you or talking them into spending money with you, right?
Oh, 100%. You've got to make a connection with people, and you got to be genuine. You got to have people like you to a certain extent. And in a lot of young people lack that ability coming out of the nest of being able to make personal connections with people because they quite frankly have been playing on their phone or their tablet or their computer, and that's the way they communicate with people. And they haven't made those connections to be able to get someone to like you, to trust you.
Yeah.
And trust is a big factor in sales. I may not have the best product, and I need you to understand that I'm going to tell you that, hey, this thing's better for you. I tell people when I'm selling property to them or for them that I'll understand that I'm not a decision maker here, that I can't convince you to spend more than you want to or to sell something for cheaper than you want to. I'm going to give you what I feel is a good business decision. And then you got to make it.
Yeah.
I don't get those choices. I feel that a lot of people in sales that are a lot pushier, they lack that ability to step back and say, hey, I'm not in charge. Now, you also have to walk into the room chest first. That's not exactly how I put that for everybody. But you got to walk in. Yeah. You got to walk in and with confidence and be the leader. But you don't have to lead them by dragging them around by the nose.
Right.
But you also don't get to be the leader by getting dragged around by the nose.
Right.
You have to at some point dig in and say, no, this is what we're going to do in this group. This is the way we're going to do it. But you also have to listen to everybody else and then decide that, this is the way we need to do it. And then let people make their own choices.
Yeah.
And then you live with them because it's not your money.
Yeah.
It's their money. It's their product. I'm sure y'all see that too, that people want to do something different. And you have to let them.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it's their decision.
I know in ours, and I'm asking if this relates to you guys the same way, we look at things, we try to be empathetic with what they're going through, right? People are trying to get something off the ground or they're trying to build to the next level. And anytime you stretch in a business, you are not sleeping well at night. You're sweating when it comes to the decisions you got to make because they're for everybody, and then, there's a lot of things that you sign up for that you're questioning everything on, right? So these people are at that moment when they come to our doorstep and I say, okay, well, let me talk to you on what would be good for you and what would be an overspend for you, and then let them know from that perspective of, hey man, I understand where you're coming from. I've been there. I've done this. I've, seen this. Do you take that same perspective with people when you go, hey, look, here's so much houses out there. This is a great deal. You're probably going to overstretch yourself to get to that point.
It's important to have those conversations with people. I had a young couple, which it's funny. Kid called me and, hey, we're married now. Think we want to buy a house. My mom said to give you a call. And I said, man, your mom's getting old because I went to high school with her.
Oh, here it is.
When your kids are calling me, I got a text her and said, hey, your kids are calling me about buying houses now? I said, you're getting old. I'm not. But yeah, you had that discussion with especially younger people, first-time investor, first-time purchasers. Like, just because the bank says you can have this much money doesn't mean you have to spend it. So you need to know, what can you really do? And let's work there. And I tell them too, because I would much prefer the lender tell them that they can't have this money than me, because I'm the bad guy at this point.
Yeah.
And I try to not be the bad guy. I don't mind it, but go find out what you can afford. Because if we start looking at houses before you know what you can get, or looking at land before you know what you can afford, and we look at something that's $100,000 more than you can really spend, and then we start looking at stuff that you can really get,
bad taste.
Then you go, I don't like these. I said, well, heck yeah, you like that house. It was $100,000 more. It was $100,000 more.
Yeah.
it should be a lot nicer place.
Yeah.
So let's figure out what we can do and figure out what your budget. And just because they say you can have $500,000, if you look, man, I really like to eat out. You can't afford to do that if every dollar you have goes into the $1,000 car payment and the $3,000 house payment, and then all of a sudden you look up like, where did all of my money go?
Yeah.
Or I didn't save anything for when I call it a blowout budget. And people spend all of the money that they have, all the money that they can ever get, and all of a sudden I had a blowout this week. And I got to put that on a credit card.
Yeah.
Because I don't have $200 for a new tire.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's where most of America's at. They don't have money in the savings account or extra in their budget so that they can afford something went wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what, unfortunately, people have been trained, that it's okay to do that. But I think that having that conversation like you're talking about is like, okay, let's talk about what really works for you and then work from there. Yeah. I also tell my clients, my job is to take the emotion out of this. And I'm not helping you buy your first home. Yeah. I'm not selling grandma's house. Yeah. I'm helping you make a business decision. Yeah. And may make me a bad person in a relationship to be unemotional about stuff. Yeah. But I think it's very important in business for us to step back and say, does this work? Yeah. Does doing this make sense for us? And I translate most of life into that type of decision making so that I don't ever have to file bankruptcy. Right. That I don't have to lose a car. That I can afford to have a second vehicle sitting in my driveway so that when I go outside and I have that flat, get in the other car. Yeah. And then we'll worry about that tomorrow. But helping people understand that that's better decision making in life is definitely a smart business move for me, I feel like, and helping other people make those better decisions. It's just being a better human.
Yeah. I saw a deal the other day and it was like, you know how many people, it was about how much money the average American or the average American has in their bank, savings account, bank account, whatever. And it was over $100,000 was like 0.00%, right? It got down to $50,000 was like 2%. It got all the way down to $4,000. 57% of Americans only had $4,000 in their bank.
And I get it for a lot of people. I get it. That you just don't have the income or life happens. Yeah. But I had a Zoom call with corporate Century 21 lady the other day, and she asked about finances as our business is slower, like a lot of real estate companies have been in the last 6 months or so, just part of the cycle. It's not COVID anymore. It's normal, which a lot of real estate agents that have sold real estate since 2000 don't know what normal means. You started in 2001. You know what 2008 and 9 look like? That's slow. But yeah, she asked, are you having to contribute personal funds into your company to keep it going? I said, my company account has 2 years of burn. I can make $0 in that account. And we pay all the bills exactly like we're doing right now. And she said, most of our people are, so we encourage people to have 6 months, but most people are nowhere close to it. Yeah. Which personally and business-wise, I think it's important to be, if you plan on being successful, you have to be able to weather the storm. And yeah, $5,000 in my checking account doesn't weather much of a storm.
No. Yeah.
It's you go buy a new transmission in a car. Yeah. And it just doesn't work. Doesn't compute for me.
Isn't that crazy though? But so many people, everyone has a house. Everyone has a car. No one has money. Yeah. You know, so I think about that too. Like when people start to stack up, you know, all these buying trends and things like that. Right. So I think it's really cool that you're, you know, kind of talking somebody down on something that a lot of people would be like, oh, this is going to pad my pocket. I need a little bit more over here. But you're kind of looking out for the goodwill of people as you're
100%. I tell and I've told you, tell my agents, tell my clients is, to me, it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And some people say they call it, the relationships that they build with people. It's about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, yeah, I want them to like me when we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But they can think I'm a jerk too, as long as I help them make the right decision.
Yeah.
And I guarantee there's a lot of people think I'm hard to deal with and I'm a jerk.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that percentage is?
Oh, pretty high. It depends on the day. And it depends on if they're actively working with me right now.
Uh-huh.
But it changes because, I tell my agents, look, your job is to make them happy, or clients or another agent. But if somebody needs their ass eat, that's my job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if they need it, they need it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when I get off the phone with people who've had a problem with somebody, myself or the company or somebody in the company, they're happy.
Yeah.
They're in a good mood because we solved your problem
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
You were mad about it. You're screaming and hollering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Just try to be very matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
But, for some people, being matter of fact, they think you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with having solved the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If they think I'm a jerk or not.
Yeah.
But most people are appreciative and think that you're the guy that helps take care of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're the guy that has answers to the questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on multiple text threads with other real estate agents who do not work for me.
Mm-hmm.
That if they have a question about what needs to happen in something, I get a text.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I've got 2 real estate agents that I don't believe they've ever spoken to each other or seen each other ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time they've ever talked to each other was on a group call with me.
Mm-hmm.
And they work for 2 other companies. Neither of them have never worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done business with them and they know that, hey, if we have a question, hey, how do we need to do this in a contract?
Yeah.
First off, they should call their boss.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Because they know that, hey, Jeremy will help us.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't going to charge us anything.
Yeah.
And we're going to laugh about it when we get done. And then we're probably going to send some stupid TikTok to each other later in the day too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was one day I counted between the 3 of us, it was a little over 200 texts that we had.
That's crazy.
And this was just about nothing.
What else happened that day?
Well, our text thread started with the gas station. My favorite gas station is in Greenville.
Okay.
It is on the corner of Moulton Street, Business 69 in the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who knows that intersection knows that there's a substantial amount of wildlife that runs around there.
Yeah.
So you can fill your gas tank up and get a show.
Yeah.
And so it started with that, with a picture of the wildlife, and then it just went off. I don't even know what we talked about that day, but it's just funny stuff. And like I said, again, to me, it's about building those relationships and business relationships to where I'll get a phone call that says, hey, what do you think this is worth? Or I can ask one of them, hey, I'm selling a piece of property. Girl who lives in Eustis said, selling something that direction. What do you know that's sold? And building those relationships with other agents and brokers in other areas, if it's in real estate or if it's a mortgage broker or if it's somebody like, hey, call these people because they'll know the answer to that question. I feel it's important as a business person to be open and help people with that. If you see something happening, you call them and say, hey, this. We have another agent who works for a different company that when we have an office meeting, I invite her to it because she works for a company somewhere else. And I refer to her as our stepsister. And I said, come eat lunch with us. We've got something that's happening that we need to know about. Everybody needs to know about. Come eat lunch with us. And several times she has. Just sharing that knowledge and experience. I think everybody should in every business. Yeah, we're competitors.
Yeah.
You have competitors. I have competitors. Every business has a competitor, but it doesn't mean that we don't like each other. And that we don't help each other. And I think just in general, it's smart to do.
Don't you think most people that are territorial when it comes to that kind of information in general are insecure in their capabilities in general? I mean, I think that they're like, I don't want to give anything away because I'm fighting tooth or nail to get something. And I don't believe there's potentially any more for me to get. So I can't let that thing go. Right. And it's like, if you believe and you're confident in what you're doing and you're bringing a good product, there's so much stuff out there to have. And we can all eat. This is a buffet mentality. This is not a last meal mentality. So I think, in my opinion, most people who have that guarded, I don't want to let you in or give you a secret because now I can't eat, is because you think you found a nugget and that's all you're worth, or that's all you can get,
I think that's probably fair. That's accurate. There's people who think that I've got to have all of these things because this is all I can get, and they're not reaching out to find other opportunities. And yeah, there's industry stuff that people don't want to share, and I get that too. Yeah. But the folks who this is my sandbox.
Yeah.
You go play in your sandbox. I'm playing my sandbox.
Yeah.
I don't think that's efficient.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's probably some amount of insecurity that I can't compete with these other people if they know what I know.
Yeah.
It's like those people aren't the people walking in chest first. They're not walking in and taking over and being the person that people gravitate towards. Because if you're going to not tell me or help me, why am I going to help you? So why would I gravitate towards you? So how are you going to grow yours? By, hiding your light under a shade, let everybody see it. Let everybody see how good or bad you are. And if you're confident in yourself, people will be confident in you.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. Where's Jeremy from?
Where's Jeremy from? Well, it's, I was born.
Oh, congratulations.
And went to the White House is what we referred to it. It was a little White House on Saukville Boulevard in Greenville, Texas. Lived there for a very short amount of time. It was right across the street from the park. It's an interesting story. I had my mom tell about my mom that she didn't have very smart kids because we lived right across the street from the park. But she didn't want us to know that the swings were over there and as toddlers walk across the Saukville Boulevard, pretty street. So she'd put us in a car and drive us around for a few minutes, and then we'd wind up at the park. And she raised some dumb kids because we didn't know we lived across the street
for years.
For years. Then we eventually, my mom remarried and to my dad, Freddie Dale. And we wound up building a house next to my grandparents out on Highway 380. I tell folks I had a Greenville address, a Cattle Mills phone number, went to school at Merritt, and lived in Floyd. So we really didn't live anywhere. But that's where I grew up there. Lived in that house until I went to college. But highway eventually took it. It's where a trailer park is on 380 now, RV park. But grew up there. Had with two brothers. My father and another two brothers and a sister lived not far. We drove by his house going to school every day. I went to school at Bland. I started in Greenville. Second grade, went to school at Bland. And I graduated from there in 96. That's 30 years ago this year.
You're younger than me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I like your Just for Men you've been throwing in right there.
Well, I get accused of this. Are you dyeing your hair? It's like, no, this is what living right.
Okay.
High testosterone level.
Okay. All right.
And
just
I cut my hair short enough you really can't see the gray on the sides. But I didn't know I could grow a beard until a few years ago. I grew one, and there's actually red in it somewhere. I don't know where that came from.
Well, the red turns white. I'll just tell you that.
Well, I think it's all going to at some point. I'm just glad to have hair. My grandfather on my mom's side, he had the Caesar. Like it was just hair here.
Oh, yeah.
All of that family. My younger brother on that side, I think he started using Rogaine at 18, just to preventative.
That's tough.
But not for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny. But anyway, I went to grad school in Merritt. Then I went to Commerce, A&M Commerce, and got a degree in Ag Ed and a master's in animal science.
What were you wanting to do with this animal degree? I mean, I know you said sell houses to cows, but
what I started out, the plan was
that a big one, or is that just like
the plan was much greater than the results. I'll tell you that. I tell people I knew where I was going to college because my check would clear so I could get into commerce. I didn't have to worry about A&M, but if you could direct transfer at that point, because it was A&M Commerce to the mothership. My older brother went to A&M and was in the Corps, and my mom wanted me to say, hey, I want you to go to the Corps too. I said, no. I know my particular attitude. A kid a year older than me telling me, screaming in my face what to do was not going to turn out well for me.
Right.
When I graduated high school, I was this tall and 155 pounds.
Yeah.
I could eat that child now.
Yeah,
I turned sideways. You look at our old pictures when I was in high school of all of us, and apparently our parents couldn't afford food. It looked like we were in a concentration camp. I turned like a lollipop. You turn sideways and I wasn't there anymore.
Big wind comes up.
Yes. So anyway, I didn't need to be in the Corps. I didn't need to get pushed around. So, but I was the thought originally was I'll do this. And then I considered being a physician's assistant. So you just have to start school and then you can go to med school, all those things. That obviously didn't happen. The intention of getting the ag degree was to be an ag teacher. Yeah. My ag teacher was one of the biggest influences as an educator in my life. I've converted him to a client. His kids as well. But that's one of the, if not the most important to me, classes that kids can take in school. And it's not necessarily because it's the ag stuff. It's the interaction with people. It's the public speaking. I tell people, in school, I was involved in everything because at Bland, there's 28 kids in my class. So we knew each other. Yeah. And if we didn't all participate in everything, well, we couldn't do anything. Yeah. And I dribbled the basketball a lot in school. Got pretty good at it. Yeah. I don't dribble the basketball anymore.
Did you dunk?
If we had a ladder. I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1" in white. I was not dunking the basketball. And I told my coach he wanted us to lift weights. And I told him, I am strong enough to shoot from anywhere on the court you feel comfortable for me to do it. Yeah. So let's not worry about that. Let's just try to keep me from fouling. Yeah. Let's not run up and down the court too many times in a row or I'm going to push somebody so we can stop. I need a break. Yeah. I need a break. Yeah. And he knows this. Yeah. He would still admit that today. Yeah. But English and public speaking, I think, are the two most important courses because you need to have words, and that's what English teaches you. Is to have a larger vernacular, which is a bigger word for vocabulary. So Mr. Patterson, he cousin of the gentleman I purchased the business in Greenville from, he lived next door, and he was a great influence on every kid that went through that school because they were all his kids, and taught you English well. I can't handwrite to save my life. I can't spell, but I can put together a story. Yeah. And that's largely because of English. You learn those things. You learn how to put together words. And then ag, I learned to talk to everybody. Yeah. The interesting fact there too is my mom's an English teacher. She didn't go to college until after I was out of college. My grandfather on my mom's side was the principal here in Cattle Mills that everybody remembers, Bill Turner. I remember him as a kid. He was 7 foot tall and 400 pounds.
Truth?
Really, is when I was 3 foot tall, he was. But as I got to be 6 foot tall, so was he. Yeah. And he was still close to 300. Yeah. But he was Big Bill. Yeah. Was the elementary school principal here and math teacher here in Caddo forever. Yeah. He retired in 82 or 83 and started selling real estate. He already been doing it. He's the person that I started working under. My mom's an English teacher. It was my generation of the grandkids, that we were able to escape education largely. Most of us do not teach, but my uncle was a superintendent in Miller Grove. One aunt was a teacher in elementary school in Rockwall, and one of them is Miss Talley, is still the PE teacher at Lamar.
Yeah, I had Miss Talley.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's mean. And
she had a great nickname.
What's that?
I'll tell you.
You probably don't need to. Yeah. But
she was awesome though. I really did like her. She really was cool.
I think I think she's great with kids. All the kids liked her. Most everybody I know that you run around in town knows who Miss Talley was. Yeah. She was my PE teacher at Travis. I was a Tornado. Yeah.
Same.
So you were a Travis Tornado
until third, and then I went to Bowie my fourth grade year.
Okay, yeah, that was. I
had Miss Gilstrap. I don't know if you heard of Miss Gilstrap either.
Heard of Miss Gilstrap. Yeah. What's funny is I remember my kindergarten teacher was Miss Turner. She wasn't related to us, but she was. Why I remember who my kindergarten teacher was, I don't know. But Had her, and I went kindergarten, first grade with Travis, and then we went to Bland. It was interesting. We could, from our house, I could see the elementary school. And we were lucky enough that we were the last kids to get on the bus.
Yeah.
And my grandmother didn't work. So most of the time she picked us up.
Yeah.
But when she didn't, we had to ride the bus. So if you're the last person to get on the bus, you're the last person to get off of it too.
Yeah.
So I can see my house. You look from the elementary school, you could look and you could see the roof of our house. Look to the left. And as the bus pulled out and hung a right, here in an hour and a half, we could get to that house that you could see from the elementary school. Yeah, that's going to school to country school.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to go pick up the high school kids first, and then we'll get back over here.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of my life in a nutshell. I started selling real estate and just kept doing it.
Well, let's talk right after you got out of college, right? First job out of college was real estate. You started working for that one summer.
I graduated. I graduated in December, started with my grandfather, and just kept doing this. It's the only real job I had. And it's, at that point, I was probably able to save more money, percentage wise than I ever was able to.
Yeah.
Because, and I was making like $30,000.
Yeah.
But when you're not spending any money,
it's great.
You're just stacking it up. And beer was a lot cheaper then.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot more expensive.
It was a long way to drive back then, so gas was up.
Yes. When I graduated high school, I was working in commerce, and I was driving a truck back and forth to work, 82 Chevrolet pickup.
Neelanville on the way?
Well, Neelanville was on the way, but I wasn't old enough to stop there. Other people were.
Yeah.
But it cost me about $5 in gas to drive there. That's how bad mileage it was. And I got made $5 an hour because I was working for a farmer, so I was contract labor. I didn't get minimum wage. So the first hour that I worked was to pay to go to work.
Yeah.
And then some days it rained.
Yeah.
So you only got to work about a half a day. So like I made $15 today.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first job. And then I, in college, I worked for a bedding plant grower. Plant Source is the name of it. And the only reason that I got that job was because I was dating his daughter.
Yeah.
And
shout out.
There is there's a theme to the jobs that I have. It's that I've never actually had a job interview, or I wrote a resume.
I know a guy.
I wrote a resume in class, in one of my courses in college. But when you're waiting tables with people you already know in college, and you go to work for your grandfather, and they ask you to work for them at the university, and then you just keep working where you were already working, and then eventually buy it. You've never actually do an interview.
Yeah. So that's how it happened. You worked there. How long did you work there before you decided you want to take it over?
Well, I worked there. I bought the business about 8.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I had worked there. What's that? 15 years, years. And I tried to start buying it about 10 years before I was able to. Charlie had started the business. We have the longest running franchise real estate company in Greenville. I think Charlie started in like 72, 74, something like that, before I was born. But he was about 70. I said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying the business." "Oh, I don't want to yet. I don't want to." When he turned to 80, he got a little more serious about it. So I was able to purchase it from him then.
Yeah.
The interesting fact is I was working for Century 21 Patterson, and I got approached by Payne Real Estate about buying their business. And I'd been negotiating with Charlie, and they approached me, and I decided I was going to buy it. Didn't ask anybody. Decided I was going to do it because I thought the value was there. And I walked into his office one day and said, "Hey, I know I've been trying to buy your business, but I'm buying this one over here. Because I know that means I may have to go unplug my computer. And I no longer am coming to this office anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm going to work there." And he got real serious at that point. So I actually owned a different real estate company than the one I worked at for about 6 months. Century 21 doesn't know this, by the way, so we might need to cut that out. But I owned Payne Real Estate. There was a different broker that was running it, still runned it. Payne still worked there, and Jerry Gale still works there, my 86-year-old agent that goes to work every day. One of my most productive agents. Afraid at some point I'm going to have to start swinging by the nursing home and pick people up to go to work, but it's okay. But I owned it, operated it, worked for the Greenville office, and then was able to get his purchased and roll everything together. And that was in, 18, something like that. So I guess 18. But anyway, was able to get that purchased. I didn't move my office. I'm still in the same desk, still set up front. That way I see who comes through the door. Office manager, who is our secret weapon. She takes care of everything. That way I know all of the stuff I already did before. I just paid attention. And I think that's important in the real estate business. I believe in stick and brick. And I know a lot of agents and a lot of salespeople, they work from home, and I can't, because if I'm at home, I'm going to go to the hardware store.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend money on something.
Yeah.
But if I'm at the office, even if I'm just watching Netflix on my phone at the office, there's a chance that the phone might ring or somebody might come through the door. That's been my mentality the entire time I've done business, is to just be present. And if you pay attention to all of the stuff that's happening and all of the listings that are coming in, when the phone rings and the office manager is trying to figure out whose is this, and I can just, because I can see her desk from my desk, I just tell her which property it is, and I don't have to pull the computer up because I know. And I think as a business owner, that's important to do, is to know what everybody in your business is doing as best you can. With the size we are, I can do that. I think it's important for me as the owner that these people see me every day. And I have a great group of people. I do tell them that we are like the Island of Misfit Toys. Have you seen the claymation Rudolph? That's us. Yeah. We're all different.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
And we all work different. We all have different attitudes. We all, whatever. We're not the cookie cutter, drive the nice clean car and wear a pretty dress. It might be a little too low cut. That isn't us. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I washed my truck. I tell people it's a 4-door 1-seater. It's the rolling dumpster. Like I meet people at properties. We don't ride together. Yeah. I have to move too much stuff out of the front passenger seat to let somebody sit with me, and they're liable to get their clothes dirty if they're in there too. So, to me, that's kind of us. Is we do stuff a lot of people don't do. We do just a little different. I wish we sold more houses because there's more profit in it per transaction. But as I was driving around Forney on Saturday, went from North Rockwall to Forney, which is an ass whipping, just to get to. I did a post that said, "Can I please just draw a subdivision today?" Yeah, like it's driving around in that traffic. That's just not what we do. Yeah, we do a lot more. Some amount of commercial. Residential out of town, land development stuff. That's what we do. That's what we've gotten into. That's what most of my agents, what they prefer. But I'm lucky that I work with the seller a lot, so it isn't getting told, "Hey, let's go look at houses on Saturday." Well, I say that, and yesterday I'm standing in the rain in Rowlett. Where they got like 6 inches of rain, and at my house in Commerce, I got 1/4 of an inch. Yeah. But didn't make my shoes any drier while I was driving around. Yeah. So that's what we've fallen into, is we do a lot of things that other people don't do, which is good. It doesn't mean that we can't do the stuff that everybody else does.
Like what? Like, you guys you're not heavy in social media over there?
We're not. At one point, I think we had 2 of us had a social media account total.
Are you one of those 2?
I'm one of those 2, but if you look at my Facebook page, you would not know I sold real estate. Okay. You know I like to cook food. Yeah. You know that I have a cat named Walter. Okay. That just showed up. Yeah. And you know little tidbits about what it looks like in my backyard or a sunset or something like that. But
you're also famous for one other thing on social media.
Well, which one is it? The shopping carts or the parking?
It's the parking.
Parking. I get the parking a lot.
You're the parking police.
I am part of the parking police. I do have people who will self-report. I have other folks that won't. multiple times I'll run into just random people and they'll say, my wife makes me back up and put it where it's supposed to be. Or because she said, Jeremy's going to find you. And I will. I mean, I'll take a picture. The other day there was one, somebody had left the motorized shopping cart straddling a line in a parking spot. I'm like, so is this not taking your shopping cart back where it belongs? Or is this not parking how you're supposed to? Because it was a double offense.
Yeah.
I'll take, my mom will sell out my dad. I'll sell out anybody. It doesn't hurt my feelings. People have said, I've said something to people before and they said something back to me. I just look at them like, park better. I don't know. I'll black out your license plate, maybe.
Maybe.
If I remember how to do that, shoot. If you park better, if you don't want people to know that you park crappy, I don't know what to tell you about it.
What started the park crappy photo police?
I really don't know. I'm not really sure how it was. I'm sure it was my vehicle initially.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, are you in the parking lot spot if you're on the line?
Yeah.
Or are you out of the parking spot because you're on the line? Now, the other theory is your mirror's going. If your tire is on the line, your mirror's probably hanging over. And I kind of feel sorry for whoever I parked next to over here when I pulled in. The parking spots, for the folks that don't know here, downtown Caddo Mills, are pretty tight.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the collapsible mirrors on the truck today. So I hope they're thin.
I have an oversized truck too, and it's almost paint to paint on both sides of this. So it's like I'd spend some of this to get in there, and you get out and you're like, man, I'm touching both sides, so I don't know what's going to happen here. But
just be okay with door dings is kind of what I have.
I just try to park far away.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah. I have a 2010 F-150 that's my everyday driver.
Yeah,
and I said I haven't washed it in years.
Yeah,
so I've got a protective layer of dirt. So if I've parked too close, they can.
That dirt's going to hurt their car.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's a silver truck. You can't tell from very far. You got to get real close to it to know there's a problem.
Yeah.
So that is. I don't know. Vain is not. I tell people I'm pretty. I do. I mean, I'm not handsome. I'm pretty.
Yeah.
But the vanity in my vehicles is not me.
Yeah. We keep it in the boots around here.
No.
I don't know. We got some nice Osh's boots.
Well, the reason that I have these on today is
this
because
is a flex.
Well, yeah, that's it. Same reason for my pretty in pink shirt. I'm a little Molly Ringwald today.
Yeah.
But no, I had to wear these boots because the Hey Dudes were wet from yesterday.
Okay.
And my everyday boots, I sent them off to get resold a week ago. Sent them back to the factory to get resold. So we're just hoping those show up soon because I don't really like wearing the $600 pair of boots every day. And the other ones have holes in their soles too. So we're not, I'm not real concerned about what I wear. The funny thing is I remember you, and you probably don't remember this conversation. It was at Cattle Mills Golf Tournament. This is after you'd done some work for me and met me during the day, during the week and stuff. And then you saw me at the golf tournament and you said, weekend Jeremy looks way different than week Jeremy. You're right. I try to wear clean clothes and don't wear baggy shorts and a t-shirt when I go to work. It isn't about putting on airs necessarily, but, it isn't about wearing your gym shorts and your t-shirt. Like I said, I believe in stick and brick and having an office for people to come meet you at, and you look professional and be professional. I'm not going to steal the Wi-Fi at McDonald's and try to write a contract with my hat backwards. That's just not me. That's not how I was taught. That's not how I was raised. Doesn't make it wrong for people. Other people do it how they do it, and that's
you
fine.
hate those people, don't you? Inside, you hate them.
Well, they're not. I'm not
my
fan.
favorite.
I'm about loving everybody. Other people can be how they. Be weird. That's
Look, you
okay.
can do what you want. I just hate you inside. Don't worry about it.
It's all right. I tell people all the time, it's okay that we disagree and that you're wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me that you're wrong.
Right.
You just need to recognize that you are.
We'll just get you to the conclusion.
Yeah, it's okay that you voted for the wrong person.
Here's the facts.
It doesn't hurt my feelings. I canceled your vote. It's okay. But no, it and I think people do look at some of that. To me, it's about being professional. Yes.
Yeah.
This business was originally designed to be a professional business in selling real estate.
Yeah.
You were supposed to have a college degree. You no longer do.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have to pass 6 classes and Hello, Mr. Train.
Mhm.
I haven't seen one of those in
Twice a
Caddo.
day.
Twice a day.
Twice
is
a
when it comes
day.
through.
It's exciting.
It's you pass 6 classes, take 2 tests.
Yeah.
State of Texas, in every test you take, says 70% is good enough. That means that you were wrong 30% of the time.
Right.
But now here's your license, and go help someone spend more money than they have ever spent in their life. And I tell my agents, look, we can't be wrong 30% of the time.
Yeah.
Or this business wads up and blows away.
Yeah.
In life, you can't be wrong 30% of the time. Could you imagine you went and did something today, and don't care what it is you did today, you did 30% of it wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, how long is that going to work for you?
Yeah. Well, I works for the weatherman.
Well, yeah.
He's 50-50.
Well, I remember Harold Taft. You're old enough to remember him. I think it was Channel 5. And he said, we can predict the weather for about 3 days. And now you look and there's a 14-day forecast.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm just going to get up in the morning and hit the Weather Channel on my phone and see what kind of shirt I need to wear. Yeah. Because I know I'm going to wear either khakis or starch jeans. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. But yeah, the weatherman, that is a great job.
Oh, man. Imagine being wrong every day and just being like,
people come back.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Or getting the ability to just like cut into your TV show.
Oh, yes.
To go, oh, guys, you ain't going to believe this.
Well, see, I do have the advantage that I don't have terrestrial TV. And I'm too cheap to have a lot of different platforms to watch TV. So, they don't ever cut in on Netflix. Right. So you're okay with it. Get Hulu, the weatherman isn't coming on. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. We can stop everything because it's supposed to hail today. Yeah. I think they said yesterday, while I was showing houses, we were supposed to have some 60% chance of large hail. And if large is the size of half the size of a Sonic ice nugget, they were right. Yeah. I mean, it's all a matter of perspective. Yeah. I guess on that. But the weatherman, that's a good job to have if you can get it.
Yeah, 100%. It's so funny too. You hear these guys that kind of get in this deal of projecting what they're going to do 7, 8, 10 days down the road because they saw the weather, That's like life, in my opinion. Like, you don't know what's happening tomorrow. You have to deal with today. The same way as you're doing your business, you got to go in, you got to start planning out for how do you handle today? You need to keep an eye on the future, and you need to have a goal that you need to set and the things that you want to go towards. But there's things that are going to happen between now and then. They're going to cause you to make a few different changes as you go through, right? So reading the weather out a day or 2 or even max 3, to try to get a heading of where you want to go. But I think that you kind of got to plan your business the same way. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
That was part of my meeting the other day. It was like, hey, what do you want to do this year? Yeah. How productive do you want to be? How much commission do y'all want to bring in for the company? And I said, enough to pay all the bills. Yeah. I want us to make money. But a lot of groups are big on projecting. Well, if you put this many hours in at doing this, historically it says this is going to happen. But you're behind for the year. And I said, yeah, but we've got a $2.6 million sale tomorrow. Yeah. So you're not taking tomorrow into account for this. Yeah. And it's, to me, it's about being present. It's about showing up. It's about doing the things. It's about doing the transactions, about making stuff happen. But projecting what I'm going to be doing in 2 weeks, I don't know. Yeah. I do know that, like, I think my furthest appointment that I have out is in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Lubbock for you'll love this, a 90s country music themed birthday party.
Get some.
For my sister-in-law who's turning 40.
Garth Brooks, baby.
I've already seen some of the brush puffers. We're going to see if the 13 MWZs that I purchased are going to fit. I don't know. But that, I don't project a long way out on what I'm going to do. Right. I tell people in real estate and in life, your best ability is availability. And I've heard it talked about in athletics. But if you'll just be there, if you'll be the person, if you show up, if you can be healthy enough, if you can be at work, if you can put in the time, that's your best ability. Yeah. It's I'm very lucky to use one of my very few talents that I have, besides being pretty. That's not really a talent. Yeah, it's more of a skill. Yeah, is to talk. Yeah, I've learned how to do what I have gotten in trouble for the vast majority of my life is talking. The only grade that I failed was conduct. Got a 67 because I wouldn't shut up. But I've turned it into making a living.
Yeah.
And, some people say it's successful. Some say it's not as successful as what they do.
Yeah.
It pays my bills.
Yeah.
I can afford to go eat where I want to, like once a month.
Yeah.
Other times you have to cook it for the office. But no, I think that's what people need to understand is showing up every day, using whatever talent it is you have is more important than projecting what you want to be. Because if you'll do what you're good at, or even you don't even have to like it. Like there's a lot of days I don't like my job.
Yeah.
Because I have to go do something. And as the owner of the business, I do a lot of things that I don't necessarily want to do, but I need to be there.
Yeah.
Because I need to know about these things because I know people are going to ask me. And I think that's every business owner. Like, do you really want to go to the Chamber of Commerce meeting today?
Yeah.
Do I really want to go to the city planning meeting for Sulphur Springs that I did to on my birthday?
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
But I needed to know what was happening in that community. Those are important. But projecting, hey, if I sell 5 houses this month, then I'm going to be able to go on vacation, or I'm going to get this done so I can do these things. Show up and do it.
Yeah.
Be a doer, not a talker. And I think that makes a big difference in life. Talking about something doesn't accomplish it. It helps. And some people, it helps them to visualize what they're going to do by doing a vision board at the first of the year. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
You sent me a Google invite to remind me to be here. I just remembered I needed to be here.
Yeah.
I just they send me invites for Zooms and they'll call me like, hey, you didn't accept the invite for the Zoom. I said, yeah, I'm going to be sitting at my desk at 10 o'clock when I'm supposed to be. So why does it matter if I said, yes, I'll be there?
Yeah, like because most times people bail and they don't know they're going to be locked in on what they're saying they're going to do. But yeah.
And it's different mindset.
Yeah.
I don't, if you look at my desk, you would think that how do they get anything accomplished? Because it looks like my truck does.
Right.
Just stuff scattered everywhere. And the cleaning lady knows not to touch my desk because she'll move something and I won't be able to find it.
Yeah.
But that's my office manager. It's funny. She'll ask about something and I'll tell her, she says, are you sure? I'm like, between the two of us, who do you think remembers? And she says, yeah, I don't know how you multitask like that.
Yeah.
Because I'll be carrying on a conversation with her or doing something here and I can hear what's happening behind me and I answer that question. And it's just the way my brain works.
Yeah.
And it's a personality trait, and not everybody has that. Some people are very methodical and need to do this and move to this. I can have a lot of things going on.
That's using ADD to an advantage right there.
Well, I try to not consider it ADD. We like to use the word multitask.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. And we try not to put.
We don't want to put
labels on things. I don't want some doctor trying to give me medication. There's certain pills I'm okay to take, but others I don't want to get very focused on anything. But
don't lock me in.
I quite literally most nights will put in an AirPod. It was funny. I went with friends.
Just one AirPod.
Just one.
Okay.
Just put in an AirPod.
We left or right ear on this?
It depends. I've got 2 separate sets of AirPods. One left ear works better and doesn't squeak, and one right ear doesn't squeak. So it depends on which one I have.
Yeah.
And I can tell by the color from the earwax of which set I have. I don't have to look and see the name on it. It was funny with that too. One of them, and I've not named these, one of them showed up and it already had the name of Marty's AirPods. So I feel like Amazon sent me some used ones.
I feel like that too, right?
But I didn't change the name. One said work AirPods when it showed up. So I don't know where it came from either, but I've had them long enough. I think it's okay. But I'll put in an AirPod and take some melatonin. And then
what do you listen to and with melatonin? Is this like white noise, or are you trying to what's happening?
Pull the curtain back a little bit. I'm cheap too, like I already said.
All right.
So I don't subscribe to the paid Pandora. So if I have music going on or white noise, a commercial comes on and that'll scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You're sleeping. somebody's screaming in your ear,
Right.
and the volume's usually a lot louder.
Yeah.
So, serial killer podcast type
Oh,
things.
snap. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to eventually do that, I don't
Yeah.
get caught.
Right.
And
sure.
all of these people get caught.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to learn what not to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it freaks them out. Like I said, I went with a friend, like I said, the brother I never wanted. I went with him to go pick up a travel trailer a couple weeks ago. And he said, "You put an AirPod in?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, I've got to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
Like something has to be going in the background so that I'm not thinking about all of the things that I should have done today that I didn't do."
Mm-hmm.
And that or it's the TV on in the background. So it's just noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's basically a white noise. I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
But it makes me listen to that long enough to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Instead of, because one of the first things I'll do in the morning is I wake up, taking a shower
Mm-hmm.
after I've done a few other little things.
Congrats.
And close my eyes.
Mhm.
What do I need to do today?
Yeah.
And think about what has to get accomplished today,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of line out my day that way. And then periodically through the day, sit down there and do it again, that's drastically different than my most productive agents. It's a father and son, Lance and Cody Banks. Cody went here, Caddo,
Mm-hmm.
and Lance is from Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around here knows them.
Mm-hmm. How do you spell Greenville?
Greenville.
Greenville. All right.
Back of the mouth.
I got you.
You went there. You get it.
You know.
I went to school in God's country. That's what we call Merritt.
Is that
It's God's country.
We didn't know y'all were even existed.
Well, we came to town on Fridays. We went up down Wesley Street with you.
Wesley, I know.
Yeah, we turn around at the Kmart parking lot, and then
The Too Low crew.
We really probably had a truck that was too loud.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We were not the people y'all liked. It's okay. I mean,
I didn't spend too much time on there, to be honest.
I didn't either. I was busy playing. When you get done with basketball at 10 o'clock on Friday and curfew's at midnight, and you're done at 10 in a 30-minute drive, 20-minute drive to get to Greenville, you're not really concerned. You didn't even shower.
Yeah.
Like you smelled like you played basketball.
Yeah.
And been at school all day. So we didn't, I didn't make many trips to cruise.
You didn't hit the car wash down there and spray it off a little bit?
No. Everybody's turning around to car wash. You couldn't actually
Get in there?
Couldn't get in there. That's where Wingstop is now.
Yeah.
Is where the car wash was. We sold that too.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where we were going with that. But ask me another question because you completely and totally lost my.
I sunk your ship.
I was doing
Greenville.
pretty good. I thought we were doing pretty good. We were talking for an hour and you hadn't taken the wheels off yet, but dang it.
Well, I just had to sweep the legs just for a second to see where this thing was.
I have to get people stop me all the time. I tell people I can talk all day and maybe not say anything.
Yeah.
But I can literally, I said, just talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to, I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's the serial killer stuff on the inside.
It is. It's part of it because I feel like if you're going to, if I'm going to let you talk, you're going to say something stupid and it's going to, I'm just, and I'm going to feel bad for you for using that word wrong.
Yeah.
One of the words that, and I'll use it periodically. One of the things I think, one of the funniest things in the world is when people say that they're humbled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, LeBron James, when he's lifting the MVP trophy, is not humble.
You mean this guy?
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed?
We're not humbled when we won.
Yeah.
We're humbled when we lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people use that word and they'll say, I'm so humbled to win this award. I'm humbled. It's like, no, you're not. The guy that can get you beat.
You just humbled him.
He got humbled.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to win and he lost. That's what humbling is.
Yeah.
So those, to me, words.
Thank you for glorifying me.
Yes. Thank you for praising me for winning because my teammates were better than his. That type of thing is what you should say.
Yeah.
You can be humbled to be here.
Yeah.
But you aren't humbled because you were praised.
Yeah.
And that's where, to me, again, words. That's important. And you using your vocabulary to at least sound intelligent if you're not.
Mm-hmm. You think vocabulary is probably the biggest part of people's perception of intelligence?
I don't know that it completely is, but it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
If you sound like you know what you're talking about, Google screwed us.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing my student teaching, you didn't have, because that was part of my classwork. A student taught, and I could tell those kids anything because I could tell them with confidence. And they did not have a smartphone that could fact check me.
Yeah.
Now you're over there and you tell somebody something, well, that's not what this is. I'm like, well, that's wrong.
Put your phones up.
Yeah, please. There's a reason that we took those up and kids can't have them in school now. So teachers can teach again.
Yeah.
Well, they can lie to us.
Yeah.
But I think vocabulary is important. Understanding bigger words makes you sound smarter, even if you aren't. And then, although I do believe in the casual use of profanity periodically to accentuate a point.
Emphasize something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Using that on a regular basis, if that's the major part of your vocabulary, shows a lack of intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, it means you can't think of something better
than
to just get mad and cuss about it.
Yeah.
And I tell people, mad is an emotion that does not make any money.
Yeah.
Calculated is.
Mm-hmm.
You can be calculated, which means that you were upset about something, but you figure out a way to take advantage of that situation. But being mad doesn't fix anything.
Yeah.
And if I'm mad at you, it affects me. It doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
So why am I going to be mad about it? I mean, I people who know a lot of stuff in my life understand that there's a lot of things that I could be mad about every day. And they'll also say that, I like griping about things. It doesn't make me mad.
Yeah.
I'm a very realist, very realistic but positive about it. And a lot of people, it's strange.
Yeah.
That most people, they think if you're realistic that you're a negative person.
Yeah.
Like, no, I know this is going to happen. I'm not mad that this is happening, but I'm realistic that I'm not going to get my goal accomplished. Yeah. Or I'm realistic that these things aren't going to happen. I'm not happy about it, but being mad doesn't fix that problem. And that isn't just in business, but it's largely in business. Yeah. I can get mad and spit nails because a contract fell apart. Yeah. Or because my client who was supposed to close next week on this property, for whatever reason, decided didn't want it. My job isn't to be mad about it because I didn't get paid. My job's to figure out how we can get out of this contract and it not cost him any money. Yeah. Because that's my job. And it's about the transaction. Yeah. It's not about the $6,000 I didn't make next week. Yeah. It's about, I've got to keep this guy happy so that he eventually spends money and he tells everybody that Jeremy took care of me. Yeah. That they found a way. Because I didn't have a good reason to do it. I just decided I didn't want it. But they found a way to make what I wanted to happen. And I think that's in every business.
Have you ever punched another human being in the face?
I did in basketball. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
Okay.
And a runner.
Okay.
I used to be pretty fast. Now I'm just going to take my beating. Yeah. If you're mad at me and you're going to chase me down, I'm just going to let you do it.
You're going to let him have it.
So here, just hit me.
Yeah.
I'll make this easy on you.
Yeah.
I said I used to run a lot. In basketball, I ran a lot. And I figured if I could make it to my truck and get the door shut, then that was win.
Yeah.
Because they're probably not going to break the door.
Yeah.
I did in basketball one time. We had a kid put him against the wall. It was one of my teammates in practice, and then of course get in trouble for that. And I told him, I said, "Look, I just saved your life because they're going to beat the crap out of you in the locker room." I've never been a fighter, but yes, I would. My brother and I, we would, and cousins and stuff, we would roll around in the yard. But I would say what we did really didn't count as fighting. Nobody got a black eye or lost a tooth. Okay. So no, I've been able to talk my way out of basically every situation.
So you use your words to punch.
Yes. Oh yeah. I had a kid in my class in school. This is one of my classic ag teacher moments. He said, if he ever figures out what you're doing, he's going to kill you because this guy could have. Yeah. I said, we're safe.
He just wasn't sharp.
No. Yeah. He wrote with the eraser, not the sharp end of the pencil. But I've always been able to talk my way out of most things. The one thing I wasn't able to talk my way out of, we got in trouble in school. In Spanish class, Miss Davis got mad, and I said something, and get sent to the office. Yeah, get licks. My basketball coach is the principal, and then again, Mr. Patterson was in there, and another one of the other girls' basketball coach. Go in there and tell them, "Hey, I got sent to the office." I've seldom got sent to the office because I could talk my way out of most things. And So I got 2 licks. This is back when you could still abuse children in school, which I feel like you should still be able to do that.
Still should.
So I go back to class, and Miss Davis says, next person that says anything is going to follow Jeremy to the office. I said, Miss Davis, I'm already back, so technically they'd be in front of me. And she said, well, you can just march yourself right back down to the office.
Get you another.
And tell them what you did. And I show up. I mean, I hadn't been gone. Bland's campus is not very big.
Yeah.
And so I'm back in the office 3 minutes,
Yeah.
Jeremy, I thought I told you to go to class. So I did. Well, why aren't you there? I said, well, because here's the story. And they die laughing first.
Uh-huh.
I was always good at making people laugh. And they said, well, you didn't learn your lesson with 2 the first time, so how many do you think you need this time? And the other coach is like, 3?
Yeah.
Rick Browning's like, 3. He needs 3. I said, I think we need 3 total.
Total. One more,
Just
I think, is going to get me there.
I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say I'd take it like a man, but I didn't do very much stuff like a man in high school. I'm not going to lie. I'm wearing a pink shirt today. So, I mean, proven here. So.
And the Just for Men too, right? So
no, it is. This is just testosterone.
We'll find out what color it is by the time we get to the end of the
There's
show, guys.
white in this. There's white in here.
Okay,
Just you look more like Santa Claus than me. That's not my fault. But so we get done, and he said, Coach says, Coach Clark said, "Do not make it back to class. I'll see you at practice." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
I think that was the first day that I was actually able to grab the rim.
Okay.
Yeah. This white man really couldn't jump very good.
6'1"?
Yeah, about 6'1". Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I didn't realize that was tall. Until relatively recently, I didn't realize that I was considered tall.
Yeah.
Most everybody I grew up with is about my height, my family and brothers, all this. And then, you're standing next to somebody, it's like, why can I see over the top of them? Like, why are they 5'8"? I think average height's supposed to be somewhere around in there.
Yep.
It's like that. Just like 6'1"'s not supposed to be tall.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize I knew a bunch of tall people.
Yeah.
Until I start looking around like, why am I taller than everybody here?
You ought to see the photos for this podcast. It is insane. I'm 5'10" and a half. I hate saying half because it makes me feel like I'm a small guy trying to get more. But
just wear larger shoes. Wear boots.
Fine. I'm happy with where I'm at, to be quite honest. But every single guest that's come in here, I've had guys that are like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". Even the lady that came in here a while back was like 6'2" or 6'3". I was like, this is getting ridiculous. People are going to think I'm 5'2", because every photo is like, them putting their hand on top of my head or something like that. And so it's like, this is what it is.
Yeah, but it's easier for you to find clothes.
It is.
I mean, look at the bright side. I usually have to wear a shirt that may be too big around because it needed to be long enough.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that was tall.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, that's just part of it. Well, congratulations on that part of it.
I was really out of my control.
So good hair, still have the color in your face and your hair. You're tall, witty, smart, good vocabulary. Are there any other attributes we need to make sure that great boots?
Pretty. Like I said, pretty.
I mean, that's
these are nice boots. The office. This is the office actually bought these for me.
Nice.
This is my Christmas present a couple of years ago.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Shows how much work I have to do for them to be able to get a nice pair of boots.
Yeah.
But
also shows how they care for you too, man. That's a great gift.
I'm very appreciative. I'm lucky for the people I have. You'll go into some offices, some real estate offices specifically, and people are scared to bring their clients in the office because they think that they're going to bring them in holding their hand, drag them in, and someone's going to have their hand, somebody else have their hand, hold them out, show them houses, and that's just not the way it works for us. We help each other. We sit down and work on projects together. I get asked, and I appreciate it to a certain extent, get asked questions a lot because I'd rather us fix it up front than me have to fix it on the back end.
Yeah.
So I have a group of agents, and I mean, realistically, I think there's 4 of them that are in their 80s. So yes, we lean a little towards experience.
Yeah, well, loyalty even.
And that the people I've brought in young people who've come to work, and they haven't learned to work yet. And
what does that mean?
Well, they haven't learned that real estate just doesn't fall in your lap, and that it takes time. We have some young. And I say, when I call people young and young, that isn't necessarily how many laps around the sun they've been. It's how long they've been doing real estate. And they'll see a productive agent, not just in our office, but overall, and they say, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
I said, well, it's because they've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it for 6 months,
Yeah.
and you don't come to the office,
Yeah.
and you're not around. You don't go to things. I mean, like I said, I go to things all the time. I went to a meeting Monday night in Cooper about a data facility, data storage facility, data center that they're wanting to put in Delta County.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a community meeting, and it was a great meeting. Their commissioners and judge and everything, and power company, water company did a great job talking about what this impact would be. But a lot of people who are new in real estate, new in sales, don't understand that even though that doesn't directly affect me, I'm not involved in that transaction. It's not next door to where I live. It's not in the county that I do most of the business. But it was an opportunity to learn about what that product is, because we have people who want to do things like that here. And people who are new into the business don't understand the value of going and just listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask any questions. I sat there and listened. And when I figured out that there weren't going to be any more valuable questions and answers because they just don't know yet, and then that was fine. I left. Yeah. But I sat there for an hour and a half for a meeting that didn't directly affect me. And people who are new in sales, new in real estate, need to understand that understanding the community around them is more important than sitting at home and hoping the phone rings.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to go get it. During COVID, our world changed here. Values changed. Speed of transactions changed. The ease of a transaction changed, in my opinion. But when we slowed down about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I told people, I said, you understand that we can't just sit here and get it. Now we need to go take it. And when I say you're going to go take business, that doesn't mean you go take it away from somebody. You might, by showing them that you're better than whoever they've been working with. But you take people to lunch, you take people to dinner, you take them a gift, you take flyers to them, you go take people to stuff. You go yourself and take advantage of what's out there for you. That's what go and take it means to me. And yeah, so if I have an agent from the Metroplex who says, hey, I can't, I have a client who wants to look at this piece of property. Can you show it to him? And if it's convenient for me, I don't mind. I tell that agent, you really need to be there with your client, because the reality is, if I show up and your client wants to look at this and I meet them, I don't have any problem with that. It's one of my listings, is they're liable to want to work with me now. Yeah. Because I'm the one who showed up. Yeah. I'm the one who told them about everything about the area, because I have knowledge about it. I'm not the guy that they found on Google or that they found on Redfin out of the Metroplex that just happened to pop up first because they were paying for ad space. If you're the agent who knows about stuff, then you sound more intelligent. It's not just vocabulary. Then they want to work with you.
It's about knowing about those meetings, what's happening. There's a data center coming up down here, down the road a little bit. Population's growing in this area. There's going to be 4,000 jobs that are going to come outside of that, blah, blah, blah.
100%.
You want to buy this because you could flip it in 3 years to X.
100%. It's about in making those contacts. And I have some of my agents say, well, but it's only real estate agents that go to that. I said, yeah. But if you sound like the person who knows what they're talking about at this meeting, then those smarter people will gravitate towards you. I tell people, and it's not a new saying, I didn't come up with it, but if you go in a room and you look around and you can't figure out who the dumbest person in there is, it's you.
It's you, yeah.
And you don't want to be that person. Yeah. But you also don't want to go in the room and figure out you're always the smartest one there. You want to surround yourself with people who are smarter, so that you can learn from them too. So it's a double-edged sword at that. And even if you're not the smartest, you still go in there chest first and take advantage of the situation and have people want to talk to you. I haven't had a picture on my business card in 15 years. But when I go somewhere, a lot of people know who I am. I also am a terrible real estate agent. I very seldom have business cards with me. I don't even know if there's any in the truck right now. I don't have any on me right now. But with Dicken no S. Being my name, I just say Google it. I'm the first thing that pulls up. And it's not because I'm anything special.
Yeah.
It's because especially if you went Jeremy Chet Dicken, because nobody's middle name is Chet. I was named after a character on the 70s fireman show Emergency. If you Google Jeremy Dicken or Jeremy Chet Dicken, I'm the first thing that comes up. And it's like I said, it's not because it's anything special. It's because in this area especially, I've sold real estate for 25 years. Where my agent, Cody Banks, is never going to pull up because Agent Cody Banks was a movie character, kid show. So he doesn't have that. So he needs to put his face on his card. Yeah. But, it's if you do the same type of business long enough, in the same area long enough, people are going to know who you are. You're going to carve out space. And it's hard to do that starting out. I use the analogy, and I use a lot of analogies, a lot of sayings, but it's like pushing over a Coke machine. Getting started in sales is like pushing over a Coke machine. You got to rock it a few times. Like you can't just walk up there and knock it over. At least I can't. Yeah. But if you'll get something going back and forth, get some momentum, and then you can knock down that door and you can accomplish your goals. Yeah. But you have to understand it takes time.
Yeah. Hoodlums are the only ones that really get that analogy.
Yeah. Hood rats is what we like to call ourselves. I don't know that there was a hood in Merritt. Nobody lived close enough. It was funny. Somebody had a deal the other day. It was like, where did you go after school? And I posted something online and I said, well, it was, during basketball, it was Dan or Sean's house because they lived close to the school and their parents always had food. Well, I didn't live very close. I said in baseball, it was Jason Johnson's house, who I wound up working with his dad later. Tony's a real estate broker here. I said, and I feel like I still owe them the pizza rolls. Like between baseball practice and the game, we went and raided their fridge. Yeah. So I feel like we still owe them food. Yeah. So when I see his mom, I was like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like we ate you out of house and home, and you had 2 other kids. But it's getting started is hard. Yeah. And it's in anything, but effort is what's important.
Well, let's take the opposite end of that. You took on the early side about what it takes to kind of ramp these things up. Now that you've kind of crossed over the threshold, and I mean, if my math's right, you're 48 or 49. I mean, you're coming up on 50, right? So
no, I just turned 48. I'm not coming up on 50. That's you. You'll get there. I won't catch you. Don't worry.
Yeah. You'll catch 50.
Well, I won't catch you.
So as you start to cross over this, where do you want to take your company? Is there a point where you're like, I want to scale this. I want to get bigger. I want to do this. Or are you like, we have something really good. I just want to provide the same good product that we have now and coast out?
Well, the corporate mindset is to grow,
scale.
And I'm not real corporate. If most people would attest, I haven't. So that was the first thing when I talked to my lady the other day. It was the first time I talked to her in over a year. Yeah. I believe what I love for us to have more agents and be able to provide the same type of service to people. And yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see the cattle office be more active. I think this is a very high growth area. The reality is you can't sling a dead cat without hitting another real estate agent. They're everywhere. And a lot of them work for some online broker that they never see. Yeah. Doesn't mean that they can't provide good service. But I just don't feel it's the same atmosphere that you get from stepping in the door and it being local people or people who know about local instead of driving in from Garland to sell a house in Commerce that they know nothing about what the university is doing. They don't know that they just opened a new ag center and had a free concert the other day. Like they don't know these things about that community. Yeah. They don't know what it was and where it's going. So increasing, yes, we need to. I'd love to have more agents. It's hard for me to compete with some of them because some of these agencies that they can do online just pay a very nominal fee per transaction. The reality is, yes, it costs more to work at a company like me, like mine, but you get me. Yeah. And you get the other people who have done this for a long time. They're willing to help you and aren't scared to help. Yeah. We've had some agents who have come in and really see the value of that. And because they see the value in what they're getting, they're much more productive than where they had been before. Yeah. And just because your percentage is high somewhere, if your production is low, then it's better to work at a company that maybe you don't have as much individual transaction return, but you have way more transactions. I tell people in real estate here, I think you should fall out of bed and sell $5 million of property.
Yeah.
For what our values are now.
Yeah.
We have 15 of us, I think so there is total. That may be somewhere right around in there. And we have a handful that are really active. And we had 3 agents out of the Greenville office last year sell $10 million a piece.
So what's that, like $100,000? Probably someone's going to make out of $10 million of sales?
Out of 10 million sales, they're probably going to make a lot closer to $200,000.
$200,000. Okay.
Depends on, there's a lot of things.
Yep.
But and if you work somewhere else and you were selling 10 million, you could make more than that.
Yeah.
You'll get those questions. I'll go to a high school and they say, well, how much money do you make? I'm like, well, I'm on salary.
Yeah.
And I make substantially less than that. I dump my money into the company until it's paid for.
Yeah.
Until I get where I want to. If I sell $10 million, the gross commission's about $300,000. And I take substantially less than that out every year as my payroll.
Yeah.
Because the company needs the money. Because they talk about, like you were talking about, you only have $4,000 in the bank. We have substantially more than that in the bank, just because for the people who have never owned a company, who've never been on the management side of a company, its favorite thing to do you know what it is? Eat money.
Yes, it really
loves it.
Yeah.
But any company's favorite thing to do is spend money.
Yeah.
And people don't see that. People don't see what the overhead is. When I tell an agent at your office that you're sitting in that I provide for you, that I pay for everything for it, I pay the secretary, pay all this. This 10 by 10 room cost me $44,000 this year. That if I don't make that off of you, I lost money off of this space. And it blows their mind. That this space here cost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a good return on your money, or this office isn't where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at, do I want to scale up or scale down? I saw an advertisement the other day. It was funny to me anyway. And it's what they call this house. Do you want to right size? If you're ready to right size, not calling it downsize.
Downsize, right size.
They want to right size this home. Like, that means downside, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting, in real estate to me, it means that you're trying to buy a smaller house.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're broke.
Yeah.
Because this house in Heath was still nearly $700,000.
Yeah.
I don't live in Heath.
Yeah.
So my house is not that. But it's all in the way on my end of it as far as scale. Yes, I would like to scale. I would like to have a company that at some point, maybe I don't have to be the top 2 or 3 producer to make sure it has plenty of money.
Yeah.
But you've also got to keep in mind the mix of having the right people. Not hiring everybody who wants to try, which is what corporate structure wants everybody to do, because they get a nugget of everybody's too. So if I'm getting a piece of 100 people's, I'm fine with that, because they're putting their overhead for us is the same. Yeah. If I have 100 people or if I have 10 people, corporate structure does what they do out of New Jersey the way they do it. And they provide for us, definitely. I appreciate the things that we get from Century 21. But for me, it's about being able to, if there's a problem, somebody gets hit by a bus, I can go grab the file off of their desk and I can finish the transaction for them. That they see me every day, that they can ask questions. I do have to tell some of them, look, Jerry, love you to death, but 7 o'clock on Sunday and 9 o'clock on Monday are the exact same time.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get this problem solved at 7 o'clock tonight. But we'll work on Monday first thing, no problem. So you don't have to stay up late worrying about this tonight, because this problem ain't going to go away.
Yeah.
We've had a deal recently where there's more and more fraud in real estate. We're having people contact us to sell vacant land that they don't own. And they'll contact us and they'll set up a Gmail account and all of these things and want us to list it. And there's a lot of things that go into it, but I had this happen to us twice. This is one of our office meetings. We had this happen to us one in the Greenville office, one in the Caddo office in the same week. And one of them we got listed. And the lady went out and put her sign in the yard, and the neighbor called and said, called the guy who owned it, said, I thought you were going to give me first shot at buying this. He said, what are you talking about? He said, well, there's a sign in your yard. He said, I don't have it listed. He said, well, this is the person who has it. So he called her, and he wasn't mad about it. She calls me and says, oh my gosh, we're freaking out. What's going to happen? What are we going to do? I said, don't worry. I said, we're not going to jail over this. Because first off, we wouldn't be in the same jail. You'd be in one jail and I'd be in another because you're a male and a female. So, but we're not going to jail over it. We'll work it on it in the morning. And got it fixed, no big deal.
Yeah.
But that's, to me, if you're working for a company or own a company that you can't do that you can't be available to answer those questions and help fix those problems, that isn't the kind of business I want. I want to be, and does it sound great to own something that makes enough money that I stay on vacation and nobody ever sees me? That sounds wonderful. But I've been able to be gone on one vacation one time for 7 days. And I worked the entire time. Yeah. Because my brain didn't turn off. Just because I was out of town. Yeah. The world didn't stop moving.
Where'd you go?
That was in, where was that? It was in Mexico somewhere. Cabo. It was in Cabo.
Cabo. Nice.
But, I'd wake up at 7 o'clock there, which was 9 o'clock here, and start answering phone calls. Yeah. And by the time everybody else got up at noon, then my day was over. Yeah. Because I feel like it's probably in most sales, old stuff happens in the morning and new stuff happens in the afternoon. Stuff that I need to talk to a lender or title company or whatever, that happens in the morning, and then you show property in the afternoon because that's when people get off work. Yeah. And everybody that's at work is spooling up in the morning, so they can't make phone calls till the afternoon. Yeah. So that's kind of, to me, I see that is our business pattern. So it's I think most people who are in business would see that. They're taking care of what they didn't get done yesterday in the morning, and then they're starting new stuff in the afternoon.
What do you think are let's say the three biggest things that affect real estate the most?
Three biggest things. Value is a big thing. If people are trying to sell their property for way more than it's worth, they're never going to do it. People, we've passed the FOMO, the fear of missing out. So as long as we've got property that is priced according to value, it's great. Location, they'll tell you that location, they're your 2-3 things. That's really important. Being in the right spot, buying in the right spot, investing in the right spot. And some folks will tell you that it is the interest rates and things like that. I will tell you that I'm tired of listening about interest rates. The problem is, after the collapse of the real estate industry in 2008, 2009, the government stepped in and started backing long-term mortgage bonds. And we were seeing 30-year mortgages at 3%. That historically is a bad idea. Individuals aren't investing money in long-term bonds if they're only getting a 2% return. So when the government stopped doing that, and now we're in low sixes, that is historically low. I'm sure you can ask your parents, how much was your first interest rate on your house? And they'll tell you it was 12 or 15%. When I started in the business, it was at 8, came down to the 7s and the 6s, and then we had the industry collapse. And then government stepped in, and we've trained an entire generation that they're supposed to get money for cheap. And it makes sense to them because they only have $4,000 in the bank and they're not making any money off of it. Yeah. Or if they had that $100,000 in the bank and they were making a 6% return on it, or 5% return on it, they'd understand why mortgages are higher because it's about the gap. Well, if you don't have any money anywhere, there is no gap. It's just about the payment. Yeah. So that's, a lot of people still lean on interest rates. It's not. Yeah. It'd be nice if it was cheaper. Yes. Ours is a double-edged sword. As values went up and interest rates have gone up, then the cost of living here has gone up way faster than income has gone. So your buying power has gone down because of the combination of those two things.
Are there any things in the world that you see, it's predictions, right? So as you start to predict how the housing market's going to be, buy or sell, right? Are there any things in the world that you see start to ramp up? Do you watch the news to go, hey man, we're nearing a war, or hey, gas prices are through the roof, or are there things that you're watching every day to find out those tidbits of how things work?
I'll pull the curtain back a little more. I don't watch news at all.
Okay.
But you're not wrong. Throwing bombs at each other anywhere in the world is not great for the economy, short term at least.
Yeah.
Gas prices being $4 for diesel today instead of $2.50, $2.90 that they were a month ago isn't great for people's budget.
Mm-hmm.
We used to see that affected before COVID. People would drive an hour was the tops that they would drive to get to work. And then when COVID happened, they'd start driving. Those hour drivers would drive an hour and a half, and the people who wouldn't drive would now drive an hour. And that's fuel prices and inflation, cost of living, cost of groceries is going to really drive what people can afford, especially for our new drivers and our further drivers. Those are static costs. Those we don't want control of that.
Yeah.
Now, we can control what we eat, and I think that's funny. So I grabbed some stuff. We were going on a hunting trip, and I just grabbed some cheap donuts and stuff for breakfast. And then I love to cook. That's one of my happy places. I can turn on some, folk music and have Bob Dylan playing in the background, and I'm cooking dinner for myself or other people or whatever, and just zone out and forget the day. And so when I go buy food to cook for myself, it's expensive.
Yeah.
When I bought all of the donuts and the honey buns and stuff, that was cheap. And I figured out why there's so many fat people in the world.
Yeah.
Because this is what they buy.
Yeah.
Because that's what they can afford, and they don't know how to cook for themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have Texas is one of the fattest states in the country. And then the United States is the fattest country in the world.
Yeah.
It's because
also the wealthiest.
Yeah, apparently we're spending it on ding dongs and honey buns, unfortunately. But those are definitely driving things that happen. I tell people, a bomb can go off in the world and it changes what real estate is. And COVID was our bomb.
Yeah.
But now we're past that. So we're back to reality. And yeah, if there's a World War III, it's going to change what we do because people are scared.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
To the uncertainty is one of the biggest fears in the world.
Well, I just think about, because we're a marketing company that really focuses on analytics. We go to the nth degree trying to figure out what things are causing other things to do certain things. That's a lot of things in there. But if someone comes in and says, hey, we're doing X, and in the world is happening. So like the war that's, happening now, right? And you say that the value of if it's overvalued or undervalued as far as the property goes, do you value that yourself? And I guess you're going back with historical data to find out what's been sold in the area and whatnot. But do you take, I don't want to say seasonality, but do you take the data of the current culture for economics and put that on top of that? Because the value of something may be lower because of the war situation. It's like, hey man, you might be able to buy low right now.
Well, the deal that we typically look at is much longer term. Most people aren't buying something today and selling it tomorrow or in 6 months, unless they're buying something that needs a lot of energy put into it. Does the real world things, large scale global things affect what happens? Immediately it does, but I think long term, if you're a long term investor, which a long term to me is 8 to 10 years, everything in theory is going to be worth more. The dollar may be worth less, but you may get more of them. Real estate's very cyclical. There was an article when all the land grab was happening. Charlie Patterson gave me an article it was late 80s, early 90s, and it was talking about the 70s land boom in Dallas and how people were buying land just like they were buying here. We were buying something and selling it the next year and doubling our money. That was happening in the late 70s around where a DFW is.
Yeah.
And then eventually somebody gets left holding the bag.
Yeah.
And that's when S&L went under in the late 80s, early 90s, the savings and loans, and the economy created real estate then. And that happens. So if you buy here, if you buy high, if you're at the tip, you may have a problem. Right now, we're seeing a lot of people. I track foreclosures for our area, and the vast majority of foreclosures that we have right now, and it's not a ton, it's substantially more than it had been, but they're people who've only owned their house for 2 or 3 years, and they don't have any equity in it, and then they stub their toe.
Yeah.
Or they didn't set their escrow account up right, which is happening with a lot of new construction. And so their house payment changes, or they could barely afford it when they got it, and now it's $600 more. They can't afford that, and they don't have any equity built in anything, so they don't have any. They have $4,000 in their account, so they can't make up the gap, so they get foreclosed on.
Yeah,
and some of those foreclosures are opportunities. There's a few of them right now that are opportunities. A friend of mine that we're investing his money from the business he sold. We've put 2 opportunities under contract yesterday. That one of them needs some work, needs some love put in it, and we'll resell it. One of them, he'll clean up a little bit, and it's cheap enough he'll owner finance to somebody, and he'll get an 8% return on his money.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So those are opportunities that are there. Like when you see a distressed property, not taking advantage of an individual necessarily, but something that's just has deferred maintenance, has those things, or where you can invest short term. But 8-10 years ago, I thought it was stupid that land in Cattle Mills was selling for $6,000 an acre.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have found all of the money I could ever find and have bought all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Because now that same 100-acre tract for $600,000 is now a 100-acre tract for $4 million.
Yeah.
So it's that's location.
Yeah.
Largely in time.
Yeah.
Time is our big thing. I've sat in on some economist stuff that's real estate related that comes out of AgriLife Extension, and it shows what's cyclical. I mean, it shows what the path typically was, and then they overlaid what happened in 2020 and through to 2022, and it was different.
Yeah,
everything was just going stupid, and people get caught at that. Buying a house in a new construction subdivision is difficult. Yeah. When you buy one and they're still building houses for the next 6 years, and they're selling at the same price that you paid, and your house is 6 years older and theirs is brand new. It's hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
But people don't see that when they want a brand new house. They want a house that no one's used that toilet before.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want that, just buy you a house somewhere and put a new toilet in it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But it's in one thing in our business too that I look at is and you talk about diving into analytics, which we don't as much. Ours is much broader scale. It isn't as minute. But I ask people, why do you, like in social media stuff or in business, social media, why do you like this? Why do you like or share somebody's something? He says, well, because they're my friend. Yeah. They don't know why they do. They just do it. Yeah. But I ask business people or managers, it's like, what makes you want to be better? And they very clearly say, it's because I want to be better. It's not because I get a trophy. It's not because I get a piece of paper. It's not because somebody pats me on the back. It's because I want to be a better person. I want to have nicer things. I want to have a better business. I just want to be more successful. It's an interior thing. It's not an exterior push on it or something that makes it happen. It's that they intrinsically want to be a better person. Big word, I know. But they just want to be a better person, be a better human. And that's what that's kind of what I've started telling people. You don't have good kids, you're making better humans. That type of thing. Like, you're making better people. You're a better person because you're making a better person. Yeah. And I think that people need to hear that. Yeah. And I haven't always been great at that. Largely, used to not say thank you a lot. But I think it's important to do that. It's what is leaders eat last. Yeah. That's who's saying that is. You see it on different stuff. And I believe in that. Like, if you're going to be the leader, you let everybody do all of their stuff and you eat last. Yeah. Like, the men at Thanksgiving shouldn't get their plate first. Right. They should be the last people to get their plate. Let the kids get it. And then you just eat whatever. I will, a lot of times, cook and I just get whatever's left. Yeah. Of course, I ate the entire time when I was cooking too.
Yeah, you're grazing.
But if you want to be a better person, if you want to be a better leader, you want to have a better business, you put everybody else first.
Yeah.
And you take scraps.
Yeah.
And there's always enough scraps.
Yeah.
There's always enough business to do after you've helped everybody. And then the people appreciate that.
Yeah.
And if you do a good job for somebody, they're going to come back too.
Yeah.
And they're not going to ask for somebody else. They're going to ask for you.
Yeah.
So that to me is very important.
Yeah.
To look at your business that way. Just to take what comes.
Yeah.
What comes through the door, be there to do it. I largely don't take business out of my office unless it's repeat or referral. Unless I'm the only one at the office.
Yeah.
And if I'm the only one there, guess who's doing it?
Yeah.
I hang around till 5 o'clock every day to make sure the secretary's car starts so that she isn't stuck there.
Yeah.
That because someone needs to be there till it's over. So if you're going to be the one who has the keys, you might as well be the one that locks the door.
Yep.
It's kind of my aspect of being a better business person.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I really love your perspective on business and being loyal to people and even your scale and scope of things that you've kind of gone through, and really cool. I love that you've been doing it for this long, and you're just kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of the people around you, and not just trying to super scale things to just to grow and say I'm going to grow. Right?
Yeah.
That's really proud of that perspective. That's a great outlook because it's got people in mind. I'm going to shift gears just a couple seconds. We're a little over right now, but I just want to throw a couple scatter shoots at you at the end. What's the last concert you went to?
Oh, that is I'm not a concert guy.
Last one. You've never been to a concert?
I've been to a concert.
All right,
I'm trying to remember the last one. It was, I don't remember who it was. It was a country music thing.
98 Degrees.
At some restaurant bar in Dallas with family. I don't remember who it was. It was for somebody's birthday.
Okay.
So I'm really not in charge of most of those things.
Movie? Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'll tell you, this is not a movie, but I've been into the Waltons lately.
Okay.
Watching the Waltons.
Yeah, the old TV show.
Yeah, I've been watching that.
Black and white.
Some of it's in color. You get late enough, it's color, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of favorite things. I know that's kind of vanilla on that, but now I do have a favorite band.
Okay.
It's Journey.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
a little classic.
It's that's from basketball in high school. Our coaches were just a little bit older than us, not a lot, and we had jock jams was what played in the gym. Journey was a heavy rotation of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome. Beer, whiskey, wine.
I am the wine steward for the Northeast Texas chapter of the International Wine and Food Society.
Wow, how did we get all the way to the end and not hear about this?
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Surely.
I am the most recent past president as well. What it is a bunch of old people. I am the youngest in this group by probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Get together once a month. 4 times a year we have a 4-course meal, a seated meal at Webb Hill. It's really good. And then all the other months we do what we call an in-home, and we taste wine and whatever. And the wine steward means that I drive to Total Wine and ask them what do we need to get, and then I pay for it and get reimbursed.
Total Wine's pretty awesome.
But on the regular beers, I've kind of moved away from beer. It's more of a hard liquor or wine type thing.
Okay, like what kind of hard liquor are we talking about?
Potato water.
Potato water?
Vodka.
Oh, potato water. Sorry. Yeah.
It's fancy. Fancy with that.
Yeah, potato water.
I do like a little Pendleton sometimes too. It's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
The clear is so much cheaper for some reason.
I don't know. It doesn't. They don't put the coloring in it.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a friend of mine who I was having a birthday, and I was trying to get them the best bottle of vodka that I could find, and the best one that you go to any store specs, whatever. It's like $50, for the top. And I'm like, yeah, I can't bring a $50 bottle to this place. Like, this is like big time. I got to go give them something.
Well, this is 1876 is a Dripping Springs, and it's $21.
Yeah, exactly.
For a handle.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, that's probably what I drink more. Yeah. Especially depends on the weather. If it's cold outside, the whiskey's a little better. It was like it's be 80 something today.
Yeah.
A little vodka tonic or vodka cranberry, something like that.
Are you a hang out by the pool kind of guy?
I don't have a swimming pool.
Above ground?
I do have the best swimming pools, though. The neighbors have swimming pools.
Okay.
So you just go over there.
Yeah.
And I wind up cooking, which is the trade. I'm fine with that. But I like playing in the pool a little bit. Okay. I like sitting a nice day, sit outside.
Yep.
Listen to the birds. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy it. I like to watch the deer in my backyard.
Okay.
And
that's the biggest flex so far.
It's neat. And I've got a couple of cows in the yard and watch the deer and let Walter run around, and it's
steak or brisket.
So I do multiple steak contests a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have missed so much gold in this deal.
Yeah, I was hiding. You were hiding all day.
You were hiding.
But we do a steak contest. The office does in Sulphur Springs in October. Some of us in the office cooking it together, and then they've got one in Bonham. It's coming up, I think, April 11th. I think it is.
Yeah.
They'll have a concert. Bellamy Brothers will be a concert. We cook a steak for the contest, and then at night there's a steak dinner that the contestants cook for everybody and have the concert and stuff. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
I do the one in Bonham by myself, so I don't have to listen to people that work with me tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah. You a ribeye or you a filet guy?
I like a ribeye. And that's what we cook in these contests.
You just passed the test right there. That's all you needed to say.
The spinalis. You got to make sure you have a good spinalis.
Uh-huh.
You know what that is?
No, I have
That's the top muscle that's on top of the ribeye.
Okay.
That the fat separates up to the top.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Piece.
Yeah, that's the best part.
It's called a spinalis.
Okay. That's awesome. You cook brisket at all?
I'd have.
Okay.
I'd a lot of times when I'll spatchcock a chicken.
Say that again a little slower.
Spatchcock.
A chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like eating its neck. You cut the backbone out of it and flatten it out, and you grill it like that. It cooks way better.
You kind of butterfly it or something.
It's similar. You brine it for about at least 4 hours in salt and sugar, water, and then some seasonings and stuff, and then you cook it, smoke it for a little bit, and then turn the heat up and cook it.
You put that in there.
It is the most moist chicken you've ever had in your mouth.
I was gonna say you put that in there because it sucks up the juices.
Yep. And then you make a chimichurri. To go with it.
Okay. Are you a pellet grill or a traditional?
I am not a stick burner guy.
Okay.
Now I do have two. I have two eggs, two big green eggs that I'll cook with.
Okay.
But the pellet gun, I need a new pellet grill. But it's so set it.
It's
and forget
so easy.
Yeah, you just set it and forget it. I think we're getting robbed.
Yeah.
But it's cheating. Guaranteed, it's cheating. But and I'm okay with.
It's amazing.
It was when I was doing my student teaching. It was one of the coaches said, "If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying." And then he'd look at the newspaper as he handed you his test.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I tell you what, this is a really good one. I wish you'd spend a little more time on some of this ending stuff. I didn't know you had all that in the bag.
I'm a man of many traits.
All right. Well, next time if we see you again, we'll have to bring out some of that, some of the traits.
Okay. Yeah. Many layers.
Yeah. Well, tell people where they can find you.
Well, I said again, I'm Jeremy Dicken, Century 21 Patterson Agency. And we've got an office in Greenville at 4529 Stonewall Street. We are now lucky enough. We have one of Brandon's murals on the side of our building, so we're easy to find. I don't have to tell people we're between the daycare and the methadone clinic anymore. We're right behind the little Walmart. And then we also have an office here in Caddo on Gilmer Street, which is 36, 2007 Gilmer Street, right next to the car wash. Got an office there. There's always somebody at one of them. We're easy to find. Like I said, Google us. You'll find us. Greenville phone number is 455-9414. And Caddo is 903-527-3315. But we've all been in business a long time. And so there's plenty of it out there for all of us. We're happy to help however we can. And if you're looking for local experts, I think we have one from somewhere you want to be. We have it in our office.
Mm-hmm. Well, also just got a text message before we close this out that is a caramel walnut just for men coloring that just came in. So if you guys are looking, that's what it's going to look like. That's what it looks like on a natural face. So just want to thank you again for coming in and sharing that, and shout out for Just for Men.
Well, yes. Always great to support advertising.
All right, anybody. Until next time, that's the Blueprint.